Hey guys, we're back with Higanbana no Saku Yoru ni, translated meaning the unforgiving flowers blossom in the dead of night. Or you could just call it Higanbana. And last time we started chapter 2, again, I've been over that in the last one. Yeah, it still hasn't really sunk its teeth into me, which I assume it will. I don't know how Higanbana ranks among, Yukishi's works. Of the 4 translated ones, I know Higurashi and Umineko, I don't need to mention those. Umineko's a masterpiece, Higurashi's slightly below masterpiece. Then, Ryosuke is pretty well received, as far as I know. I think it goes between it's a good game and it's pretty dang good. Somewhere around there, I think. Don't quote me on that. Then, I think his newer ones are a bit, not too well received. I think Trianthology, however you say that, was kind of bad. And Iwai Hime, I haven't heard anything about it. And it came out 2 years ago, didn't it? Something like that. So I assume it kind of sucked. It's just my guess anyway. Let's load up the last save. They're on the same screen. Wonder if that's gonna happen this time too. Anyway, yeah. The concept of having developed photographs came out on the spot was a joy I hadn't experienced before. Of having developed photographs come out on the spot, sorry. Oh yeah, last time I realized my voice kind of sounded like I was far away, so I'm gonna try to talk closer to the mic this time. Sorry about that. Of course, filling up a roll of film and then slowly developing it in a dark room was enjoyable in its own right, but the ease of developing film on the spot with a toy-like camera was truly fun. With instant pictures, there's no long wait. The colors would fade far faster than a normal photograph, because they're meant to be taken in the moment, and enjoyed in the moment, with ease. There's still some rolls of film in the camera, so I stopped worrying about it. Perhaps it's the very fact that it had film left that made it impossible for the camera to rest in peace. At the end of this chapter, he's gonna use the last photograph, and everybody's taking a picture of dies, because it's the camera that ruins everything. That's a Goosebumps episode. I assume there's also a book of the same thing. To be gathering dust, forgotten by someone while there's still film left unused within it, was truly a sad thing. If I thought about it that way, it seemed even more like my meeting with this camera was dictated by fate. So I wouldn't worry about wasting the film, and I enjoyed taking all kinds of photos with it. Then, when I'd used up all the film, I'd returned it to where I found it. So I thought. Because one day, I realized there were only 2 shots left. Oh yeah! So this is translated by, I forgot to look up the name. Something Lily Productions. Is it a good translation? I assume it is. I haven't heard any complaints about it, but, sometimes you hear people complain about, I believe Rewrite was supposed to have a pretty bad translation. Although, that could just be because it was written by Romeo Tanaka, and nothing he writes will ever be translated correctly. I'm looking at Cross Channel specifically. Cross Channel has been translated 3 times, and none of them are the first one is decent at best. The second one is bad. The third one is a machine translation, so it's not. And the third one was official, so it's not gonna get a translation probably, which sucks. I've heard it's good. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble. I realized there were only 2 shots left, so I decided to try something with it. Of course, I had mischief in mind. Mischief? I think it's mischief in mind. To say if you take a class picture, a student who should not be there will appear. I figured I'd try it and see if that was true. It was during social studies. We watched a video and the assignment was to write down our impressions. I announced that I wanted a picture of the class, took it just for fun. Incidentally, for some reason, the film that would always develop fairly quickly took much longer this time. Because there's more people to render, of course. That's how pictures work. My classmates were all waiting to see what would develop, also that the old camera was probably broken. They told me if there's those film left, I should try again. But I was worried, so I refused, and that was it for photographing that day. Had the chemicals of the film finally gone bad? Somehow I figured that wasn't it. Maybe they photographed something. Something that should not be photographed. Perhaps the camera was resisting to spare us from seeing that. That day, the deep words spoken to me by that strange girl in the corridor returned to me. It's as if she had wanted me to take that picture of my class. Maybe that's what she meant by her deep words? I just knew there's something captured in this photo. That said, it was incredibly faint, but I thought I saw the picture beginning to develop. I looked at that photo after school, and it was still slowly developing. But even with that, I still couldn't make out the faces of my classmates in it. Takeshi somehow believed it, that in this photo, he had surely captured something mysterious. Carefully tucking that photo away, he returned home. And when he ate dinner, took a bath or the like, he took it out each time to check it. And little by little, it was becoming clearer. Then in the depth of night, when he thought to give up and go to sleep, finally the image appeared clearly for him. He diligently looked over the image, checking the photographed faces of his classmates. It's just a picture of a desk, with two desks. That's pretty scary. Yeah, there wasn't any strange spirit or anything like that on there. What was I thinking? How silly. Before I knew it, I was holding my sides in laughter. Even though the photograph had made me wait like this, there's nothing strange caught on this film. The oddly long time to develop made me wonder, but even though I waited for so long, in the end it was a complete letdown. What developed, no matter how many times I looked at it, was just a picture of my classmates. I looked at it from the side, I looked at it upside down. Something like a long-haired girl glaring, or perhaps a strange light or shadow being projected. I saw nothing of the sort. It was simply a classroom picture with my classmates as they should be. That's right. Every one of my classmates. Only faces I knew. Only faces I knew. There's Tano-kun. There's Fukudo-kun. Here's Nishigawa-san. And Endo-san. And, who was that again? You didn't talk to that kid. I can't remember the name. And we have Meso-san. Marie, I believe her name was. Who was she again? She became Meso-san, if I remember correctly. I still haven't gotten over the footage. I was gonna wait a while to record today, but I wanted to do Final Fantasy X, but I ordered a new, charger for my controller, so I could start playing with my keyboard finally, which goes like clink, clink, clink whenever I do anything. So I decided to do a Higanbana tonight. That absent-minded girl with glasses and the depressed look on her face. It was quite a sad story. We were in the same class, and she was even here every semester. But I can't recall the girl's name. Who was she? Who was she really? There's no doubt she was in my class, yet I can't remember. Who is it? Who is she? Even though it's already time to sleep, somehow I can't find myself determined to know. Somehow I find myself determined to know. I decided that if only I could remember who she was, would I let myself sleep. That's right. I think I read that line wrong, but you get the meaning. There's a guidebook for my field trip. Inside, everyone's group divisions were written down. It should have records of everyone's names. If I look in there, I should be able to find the name I've forgotten. From inside the pile of books on the bookshelf, I was able to find the guidebook. If I were younger, I would have thrown this sort of thing away without regret. It's just that after making cameras my hobby, regardless of photographs, for some reason I've started to take special care of recording materials. Because of that, I've kept even this guidebook. Opening the guidebook, you can see a list of students divided by 6 people per group. When the groups are formed like this, there's some clearly incapable and pitiful children there. So those kids are gathered up and made into a mishmash group. Being attached to that kind of group is the same as being labeled a black sheep. I was happy because I was with my friends who had always been there with me. I thought to myself, if there were children who hadn't been blessed with such friends, those kids would probably end up tasting the humiliation each time they'd be put into this group. I am certain that Ishigami, that's his name, is going to be in that group. In the opening, there's a character who has like long emo hair that looks like Ishigami from Kaguya-sama. I don't know if I referenced that the first time around. I don't remember if I started reading it yet. Oh, I think I had, because I've been reading that manga for a while now. Oh, by the way, the anime comes out. It'll be out by the time you see this video. It's better be good. This girl seemed like she would have been in that kind of group, so surely I thought she must have been in that section. No, she's not here. It's not her. In the end, I couldn't find that girl's name. No matter what name it was, I'd be able to associate it with her face. None of these were the name of the girl I'd forgotten caught in the photograph. Eh? That bad feeling that had been clouded until now finally burst free. My classmates' names, I knew all of them. I even knew their faces, so that face without a name isn't for my class. Oh, we got spooky music. What? What? What the? Something began to crawl up my spine. There's only one way to be sure. First, I counted all of my classmates in the guidebook. All of my classmates. I counted them twice to be sure. Even counting them twice, there were 48 in number. Next, I counted all the faces in the photo. If for some reason the number of faces in this photo, there's more than that. If there's more, my breathing hurried, intensified. My hands began to shake. The heads began to turn around and round in my mind. My finger was too big to count the faces with. I took out a mechanical pencil. With its tip, I diligently counted the number of faces. Please, please, please. Let it be 48. That's a big class. So I went to a school in like the middle of nowhere. So they're like maybe above, just barely above 20 per classroom. Like I'd say 24 max. Is that a normal number, or that's nearly 50 kids? That's a lot. This is just his classroom, right? Yeah, in my class. Please let it be 48. There are 48 in my class. Let it be 48. 46, 47, 48. 48. No doubt. There isn't anyone else. Pew. But he forgot to count himself. There are 48 students in our class. Oh yeah, because he took the picture, so he's not in the picture. I'd surely counted that many. Toppling over with a thud on the futon, as if to laugh at myself, I burst out laughing. All day today, how much have I been worrying about this single photograph, I wonder? How foolish. So I'm not familiar with Japanese anything. Futons are like the beds on the floor. But this is a bed. It's a bed, like with a frame. Kishi, you got some explaining to do. How foolish, but it's truly fascinating. Ha 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 ha. Play the Tita's laugh. I was relieved with the result. Or rather, perhaps I was fascinated by a mysterious 49th person in the photograph. So that camera I had treated like a toy camera from the beginning. Because of it, I had a lot more fun with it than any normal toy. Only one strip of film remains. But if I left it on purpose and put it back into sleep once again deep inside the club room, that might be interesting as well. Because future students will find it, and they might enjoy it just as I have. And with that, my meager curiosity was satisfied. I got inside my futon. As I laid down, I pulled the strings attached to the lamp and turned out the lights. He closes his eyes, and then they just burst open when he realizes. Hey, are you fine with 48? Isn't that fine? After all, there are 48 of us in our class. And that photo, surely, photographed 48 students. But I was behind the viewfinder, so it should only have been 47? I was expecting it to just go for the whole screen. Finally realized what a terrifying photograph I had taken. That girl with the glasses? I have no idea who she is. Could she truly be dead? But compared to the eeriness expected from a typical ghost photo, I could sense that a kind of eeriness from that girl as well, at all. I couldn't sense that kind of eeriness. That was my first impression from her image. Whether she's there or not. Maybe she's just like a kid from another class who happened to show up. Yeah, that's possible. It seemed as if she underwent that treatment. That unfortunate bully kid, always placed in the group with the leftovers. She seemed like that kind of pitiful girl. Perhaps not even having her name in the guidebook was another form of bullying her. The more I thought about it, the more familiar her presence seemed among my classmates in the photograph. It wasn't as if she was vaguely reflected in a window or mirror. She had a seat like everyone else. As she was cowering as if someone else were about to throw an eraser at her, she seemed like a normal student. She is... Who is she? The more I looked, the more I stared at her, as if I had no excuse for not remembering her name. I had a feeling she was in our class. Couldn't be. I didn't know her. And I felt that photo she was in was so natural. That photo she was in was so natural as a class photograph. Oh, okay, I see. What is this? What is this photograph? Who is she? No, what is this camera? Tomorrow, I'll head to school and check the class. I'll look at that girl's desk from this photograph. And with that, I'll learn who this girl really is. To do something like that like forgetting she even exists, much less her name. As a fellow human being in the same class, I have no excuse. Why I had no excuse? I had no idea. But anyway, even if we hadn't spoken, that at that moment, not even being able to remember her as her classmate was extremely sad. I'm assuming this chapter's going to go into like, I'm trying to think of the right term for it. Just bystanders who do nothing. There's a word for it, but I can't think of it. Because he had to know about the bullying, right? And, you know, when he had memories of Murray, he didn't do anything. But now he's probably going to be like, I'm going to save you or whatever. And then she's going to be edgy and be like, but you didn't before. He's going to be like, oh yeah. That's my prediction. That's going to happen. I thought at that moment, not even being able to remember her as a classmate was extremely sad. And then, I knew. Is Dur playing right now? That's an Obineko reference. The next day, whether it was coincidentally or inevitable, that morning in homeroom I had the job of making an announcement in front of everyone. Because everyone was present, I saw every person in the classroom in front of the lectern. I looked at that desk where the forgotten girl sat. Looked many times over. And so, it seemed I had to cast aside my common sense that told me truth was captured in photographs. After every single thing I did during class, I pulled out the photo and gazed at it. It was maddening. I didn't want to believe it. Truth is captured in photographs. That was my belief. Because of that, I took pride in being a cameraman. However, something that wasn't true was captured in that image. If that's the case, then I have to know. Basically, I have to find out who this girl is. At that time I thought, that someone thinking this photo was spirit photography seemed both blasphemous to the camera and to myself. So without recklessly showing it to people, perhaps thinking her face might turn up in other classes, I indirectly searched for her figure. But this school is truly massive. With an enormous amount of classrooms, even for girls in the same grade, faces of people I didn't know were everywhere. I imagine she might have really been a girl from another class. She stealthily mixed herself into our class. After all, that day was a self-study session. Other classes had it too, so students could enter our class to mess around, even pretend to be a student in the next seat over. I thought to myself. But from her sad expression, I couldn't sense that kind of extraordinary ambience about her. If she had projected a more mischievous expression, then there might have been more room for that kind of thinking. Nomia, about that camera from the other day. After all of that, did it capture anything interesting? No, nothing at all. Thought so. In the club room, my friends had asked about my spoils of war, but I evaded the question. Their minds, they probably wanted to take pictures of ghosts. And it had taken that fairly suspicious photograph. Even so, I was denying them that. If I showed this photo to them, everyone would probably be in an uproar saying it was a ghost caught on film. But that would contradict my belief that photographs capture the truth. I also thought it was strange. But I wonder, am I not a man of morality? So, do you think like she just happened to be in the classroom at that time? Or do you think that like she was like, oh, someone's about to take a picture with the ghost camera, I gotta teleport down to the classroom and be in it? The former seems more likely, but the latter seems more comical. So I'm going to choose to believe that. Of course, that time when I felt mortified by those false charges in the science prep room, because I wanted to dispel those lies. That was my motivation for going into photography. At that time, I thought over and over again, what would have happened if the truth reflected in my eyes had developed into a photograph? The only thing captured in a photo is the truth. I certainly believe so. Because of that, I don't think I could stand this photograph that hasn't captured the truth. That's not it. Perhaps it wasn't that kind of convenient reason. Perhaps I was just frustrated. That mysterious girl, I probably knew her. And I was frustrated because I couldn't remember who she was. After an exchange with my friends in the club, since we weren't interested in our work, we decided to head home early. Then, in the same orange-tinted hallway from that day, we once again met the same girl. That's right. Now that I think about it, I believe this girl knows what this camera really is. If so, maybe she can tell me who this mysterious girl captured in this photograph is. You want to know? I can surely tell you. Eh? Even though no words have come from my mouth. This feels like this song is like the fishy aroma of Higanbana. Like, is this Higanbana's theme? Like, referring to the character. Because I'd believe that. Even though no words had come from my mouth, regardless, this girl spoke in response to a question I had in my mind before I opened my mouth. Without a doubt, that girl is your classmate. If you remember her, she'll surely be happy with that. There are 48 people in my class. She's the 49th person. Subtract those by 30, and this is Umineko, with Glasses Battler and Ribbon Beatrice. Even in the class photo register and photos, her name isn't mentioned anywhere. Everyone went and forgot her, you see? It's his fault. Are you heading out? Yes. Well, how about you try checking everyone's names by the shoe racks? She's your classmate, and everyone has a place to put their shoes, don't they? There might be ways to tease someone by hiding their desks and chairs, but there's probably no way to hide a locker in its entirety. Checking the shoe racks. By doing that, I could learn that girl's identity. Even though her name wasn't on the class register, for her name to be left on the shoe racks, that's hard to believe. That strange girl was saying I should try checking there. That prediction she gave me. If I wanted a surprise, that camera would deliver. It certainly did. So if she's saying I could check those shoe racks, maybe once again I'll find what I'm looking for. Thanks. Try checking it out. You do that. Later. Aren't you heading home? This kind of evening, for that girl to be walking in the opposite direction of the exit, felt something was a bit out of place and spoke to her. If she was taking part in club activities, she'd be at her club room or the gym. If she were returning home, she'd be heading to the same exit I was. What happened to that broken window? Like, did she just unbreak it after he left, or did she just leave it broken? Ghosts can unbreak windows, can't they? I mean, if they can break it, I'd assume. If she were heading home, she'd be heading to the same exit I was. I had no idea what she was doing based on where she was headed. Even the way she walked, she projected a certain atmosphere as if she were taking a leisurely stroll on lunch break. Then she giggled and smiled. Thanks. Why was I suddenly being thanked? I had no idea. That exit is for leaving the school and returning home, you see? So it's useless for me. Well, how about you head home? Your classmates have already left long ago, haven't they? So her class hadn't left school yet then? I noticed her figure vaguely distort somehow. Are my eyes blurry? There's something out where my eyes. I quickly rubbed them and once again looked down the hall. And the girl's figure had already disappeared. In front of the entrance where students take off their shoes, just as she said, I tried checking the numbered shelves for the shoes of my classmates. And there weren't any shoes or slippers inside them. But there's one shelf labeled with a name tag stuck to it. All by itself. Seemed like it had been stuck on from a very long time ago. It was a worn out label. Literally, it made me feel its loneliness, as if it had been completely forgotten. I squatted down to read it. The name on that label. With the name tag this worn out, surely it was a student's from many years ago. There's no way I'd know the name. See? I don't know any Marie Moria. That's her name. Okay, Moria. I thought it was MM. And that was right. I also remember Marie. I said I didn't know anyone named Marie Moria. Even though I had said those words, I felt as if the smell in the air was beginning to change. What is that? Is that like an organ? Is that like a bell? I don't know what that like duh is. It felt like it's not a bell. It reminds me of an organ. Like noticing something rotting from the garbage disposal. Just like that, I finally noticed the smell hanging in the air down the hallway. Even though I should have noticed it sooner, I had no idea how long it had been in the air. But now that I've realized it, I remember now that it's always been there. Marie Moria. On a rainy day in the classroom, boys and girls were making noise during lunch break. It's not particularly special or unique scenery went through mine. In one corner of the room, the girls gathered and carrying on. I was ignoring that. After all, because they were bullying. I didn't treat it like watching TV after a meal, but that was my good conscience. How many bad girls were there? They surrounded the usual target, but they were lashing out at her about one thing or another. Even the guys were ganging up on her. It was a truly distasteful scene. Wait, hold on. Okay, but I didn't stop it. I didn't feel any sense of duty to protect her. Since I didn't feel I had any reason or necessity to fight them, I did nothing. During the lunch break, someone threw a piece of bread at her. That hit her head and landed in someone's bowl of stew. They said it seemed polluted and they couldn't eat it, and so on and so forth. As for where in that process there was any value in accosting her, I couldn't tell. It said accosting, right? Of course, because I had no desire to intervene, I didn't need to understand it, and yet... This is weird. I assume that's going to continue on into the next sentence, but... If you think it's your fault, then apologize. You should have said I'm sorry earlier. That's right, I'm sorry. Say it. I did nothing wrong. Why do I have to apologize? Who are you kidding? Everyone hear that? What do you think? So who do you think is wrong here? We have the verdict. Moria is guilty. It's Misha. Moria saw in pain and bitterness, biting hard on her lower lip, hung her head in shame. That's right. That girl was Moria. That name tag, perhaps, had been waiting a long time for me to remember that. As if it had been finishing its duty, beginning to dissolve with a hiss. Smoke, no, dust took over as it began to disappear. I blinked and looked again, but all that was there was a solitary vacant shoe shelf. But I didn't need the name tag anymore. After all, I remembered. Yes, in my class, there were 49. We ran back to the classroom, so I recounted the number of desks. I multiplied them in my mind, added what was left, and... there were 49. That time it wasn't a hiss. With a whoosh, it was as if a huge wind had blown in. The scent in the air in the classroom changed dramatically. Something had changed. For I, who had no idea what the name Moria meant until moments ago, didn't know what it was, but something had changed. I looked at the bell mark, names listed on the wall. Oh, I know what that is because Kaguya! I can mention it twice in an episode. It's like a... We have something like that. If it's not, I don't know what they're called. How do I look at the... Can you only do it outside of the game? Maybe. But those are like you know those little cutouts on like some cardboard boxes that you can turn in for like a cent or something for like food drives and stuff? Or I forget what they're for exactly, but it's like that. Like products will just have like a 1 cent value bell mark on them. Something like that. She's the kind of girl who would bring those to school and have her bell mark score on the wall. Moria starts with M. She'll be towards the end of the list of girls. There it is. Marie! Pulled that photograph from my pocket. I searched near the desk where Moria had been photographed. And in that place was a terribly warped desk. The top of the desk had been carved with cruel graffiti. Die, ugly, and the like. It was in bad shape. Even her detachable seat cushion that could be used to protect her head in case of emergencies, but covered with ink. Is that a thing? Like what? If there's like an earthquake, you get it under the desk and put that out over your head? Presumably, maybe. I've been covered with ink and was maliciously stained pure black. I slowly took that cushion in my hand, because it was obvious her name would be written on that emergency cushion. Moria. It was clearly written there, just like that. I feel like this is a pretty good place to call it. Is that? That's the same place we called it last time. But I'm fine with keeping these around 30-minute length. That's where I prefer them to be. Like, with some of my series, they go up to like 40-50 minutes per episode. But I'm more in the 30-minute camp just because if like the recording sucks for some reason, then, you know, that's only 30 minutes instead of 50 minutes. Which, I mean, I guess that works. Anyways, I'll see you guys next. Wait, hold on. Back to title. Oh, wait, there's a glossary, wasn't? Yeah, glossary. Bell marks. This is the smallest font possible. What is this song? This is neat. Since the 1960s, bell marks have been embedded in Japanese elementary school as a popular activity. Oh, so this is elementary school. I was kind of starting to think it was middle school. Bell marks can be found on many products, and students can cut them down and gather them to turn in their teachers at the end of the month. Depending on how many bell marks students turn in, the school benefits by receiving funds from the Bell Mark Foundation. They can use those funds for school supplies and equipment. Oh, this is okay. I assume that's all. Okay. Yep. I'll see you guys next time with some more Higanbana. And yeah, I'll see you guys then. Bye.